The heyday, so to speak, of serial murder was in the 70s and 80s. We had far more serial killers back then than we do now. And evidence of that is the fact that when we see documentaries and movies about serial killers, they focus on Bundy and Gacy and the legacy killers of the past. There's really no high profile.
Okay, John, go ahead. What I tell you is what I know is fact.
I'm a power person. I enjoy power. Nobody else had the guts to pull off what I pulled off. I outsmarted you again.
Police today found 6 more bodies
under the home of suspected killer John Gacy.
When you can be walking down the street and if Gacy lay eyes on you, you have now become his next victim.
I know society will never be able to forgive me. I know the families of the victims will never be able to forgive me for what I have done. Your Honor, it is over now.
Welcome, all you true crime lovers. Sit back, grab that blanket and hot beverage, and prepare for another Saturday night of The Murder Show. Whose mind and story will we dive into tonight? Now for your host, Tim, and alongside him, his co-host, Criminology, Chris, and Classroom Jackie.
Welcome, everybody, to another fabulous Saturday evening here on The Murder Show. That's right. We are back. We are ready for another fun-filled, eventful Saturday evening here. I am your host, Tim, and alongside of me, I have my co-host, Criminology, Chris.
Hi, everybody. I'm trying out a new mic tonight. Look at me.
It's got pretty lights. And alongside of Criminology, Chris, we have the director of all of our social media platforms, Classroom Jackie.
What's up, guys? I really feel like I'm going to school tonight.
I think we all do, definitely. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in and joining us. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. We were having fun setting up the new mic and all that wonderful jazz, and I was making random noises and blew out their eardrums over there. So anyways, as always, we would like to thank our sponsors. We now have 3 sponsors of the show, and we are very, very grateful for that. Crafty Corner by Laura, which is all of the handmade crochet items, jewelry, plushies, and more. Check them out on Instagram at Crafty Corner by Laura and on Etsy. You can also email them at thecraftycornercrochet@gmail.com. I was also told that Laura can crochet a item for you faster than Bill Cosby can prepare a cup of pudding for a guy. So I just, anyways, and then one of our new ones, Dubby Energy Drink. That's right. Head over to dubby.gg. And when you purchase any of their energy products, be sure to use promo code MurderShow66 at checkout, and you will receive 10% off. We have some of their products actually coming this week, and we're going to be giving them a try, but I've been reading nothing but great reviews about them. And then we have a new sponsor that we picked up this past week. I want to say it's Doshi Snacking Dough. It's edible cookie dough, the dough in a jar. Various flavors. They have chocolate chip, TF fudge brownie, basic bitch, and peppermint battle. When you purchase any of their products at Doshi Foods, that's DOICH foods.com, use the discount code MurderShow66 and you'll receive $5 off of your purchase. We also have a variety pack of their stuff coming in this week too as well, but it looks super good. So anyways, enough of all that wonderful jazz and the bullshit. Tonight we are covering the famous John Wayne Gacy that I'm sure a lot of people probably know. And if you don't, that's all right, because tonight we are going to teach you all about him.
And you're going to learn a lot whether you want to or not.
Oh, yeah. His story's crazy. So I'll go ahead and start things off here with childhood. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17th, 1942 in Chicago. He was born into a blue-collar family, the only son of Marion Robertson, and his family also included 2 sisters, which I didn't list their names unless it's listed somewhere else. But and John was actually named after the famous movie star John Wayne.
And also
So
his dad was John.
yes,
His dad's
yeah.
name was
So
John.
it's one of those like John the Second, John the Third, whatever. Yeah, which Junior. So growing up, Gacy's father was alcoholic, and he was abusive to John a lot, putting him down, calling him stupid and dumb. And if he said that he didn't like sports or get into things that most guys would like, then his dad would be like, "Well, you're never going to be a man when you grow up." Always putting him down.
Like
John,
mentally abusive.
oh yeah, very, very, yeah. John dropped out of high school and briefly moved to Vegas. He worked as a mortuary for several months before returning back home, Chicago. And then, which I did not realize this, he enrolled at Northwestern Business College, and he actually graduated in 1963.
Oh wow.
So yeah, was not aware of that. So I don't know what kind of business he started, but well, I guess the clown business, but jumping ahead a little bit, in 64, Gacy married Marilyn Myers, and the couple moved to Waterloo, Iowa, which I've never been there. Of course, Iowa I've never been to. Have you guys been there?
I know where Iowa is. I have family who lives out there.
Really?
Mhm.
What part?
Tumwa and my gosh.
Some other part.
I'm sure
Yeah.
David will announce it.
Somewhere near the corn.
Somewhere near the corn. Yeah, I was going to say there's not much out there besides, Slipknot and whoever else.
Yeah.
And when they moved there, Gacy actually managed several Kentucky Fried Chickens that his father-in-law owned, which that was something else that I learned. I didn't realize that his father-in-law owned a bunch of those, and Gacy helped manage them. What's kind of makes me look at KFC a little bit differently when I get it now,
I wouldn't have been thrilled about having that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
What did the, Colonel think about that,
right. Actually, if you look at a map from where Missouri down to Louisiana is, and then Tennessee over with Kentucky, it looks like a chef holding a piece of chicken, and Kentucky is the piece of chicken.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I learned something new again tonight. So after they moved there and he started to manage those Kentucky Fried Chickens, Gacy and his wife later had 2 kids, a girl and a boy. Gacy was very active in the community, which a lot of people know. He was a well-known and well-liked guy, which later on down, which is why a lot of people couldn't believe that he did what he did. And he was a prominent member of the JCs, which I don't know what that is exactly.
I think it's like a Knights of Columbus or like a Masonic type thing where it's certain people can be members or you can join by a certain way.
Okay.
I didn't really look into it. While you talk, I'll look and see what it is actually.
Okay, perfect. However, though, during that time was when he began to kind of show, interest in I can't even pronounce the word. Sadism, is that it? Yeah. Which resulted in several encounters with the law. So that's kind of where it started for him. And did you find it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the JCs is a leadership training and civic organization for young people ages 18 to 40, focused on developing personal and professional skills through community service, business development, management training, and international connection.
Okay.
It was pretty much to help people learn how to do things like personal growth, community needs, entrepreneurship, economic development, all sorts of things like those. So kind of like the Knights of Columbus mission.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so that's right. I do remember them saying, so if somebody needed like their grass cut or their driveway shoveled, then he would gather up the people and get that taken care of. That is right. Okay. Um, so in 1968, Gacy did plead guilty to sexual assaulting a teenage boy, which I didn't really find a whole lot of, info on what exactly happened there, but it's pretty vague. I mean, when you read what the charge is for, and I guess there was actually several other teenage boys that said the same thing that he had tried to done to them or do to them too, but there was no charges filed. Which kind of makes me wonder, like, why didn't they really charge?
And
but
that was when he was in Vegas or married to his first
that was when
wife?
he was married to his first wife, Iowa. So then Gacy was confined to the Iowa State Men's Reformatory. And then after that, Gacy's wife filed for divorce, and the divorce was finalized in 1969. So it sounds like, because we always talk about in the childhood, it sounds like he had a very, very bad childhood, mentally abused. I don't think he was raped or nothing like that.
No, but he was physically abused because his dad used to whoop him.
Yeah.
And remember in the documentary we all watched last night, his friend said his dad would punch him, he would pick him up by his shirt and drag him, he would whip him with a belt, things like
There
those.
also something that happened to him in a vehicle.
Yeah, some guy
Yes.
forced him to put his head in his lap, and he started having blackouts and like fainting spells and stuff.
Yeah. So that is true. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember Gacy's one good friend that used to come over to the house said that he accidentally spilled a drink. And the dad said, "Oh, that's okay. I just spent $25 on these new pair of khaki pants." And
But
then,
it's okay.
But it's okay. And then when Gacy and his friend left the room, he heard his dad telling his mom, "I don't ever want that stupid ass kid here again," and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
And even his mom was like, "Yeah, John should go with you because Mr. Gacy's about to start screaming."
Yeah.
And she even told the friend, which is like he knew the situation that was going on that whole time.
Yeah. Oh, 1969 was when the divorce was finalized, and then I believe it's on over to you, Jackie.
Yeah.
He was only there for, I think,
18. Actually, it was exactly 18 months of his 10-year sentence because he was sentenced for 10 years for sodomy.
Wow.
Mhm.
Must be nice. That's like, what was it, BTK that kept getting out,
Yeah.
right? That he kept going in and kept getting out real quick. Yeah. Or no,
No,
I'm
it was
sorry. Manson. Yeah, Manson.
Yeah. So in 1970, John Wayne was released from the prison after serving just 18 months of his 10-year sentence for the sexual assault of that teenage boy. His parole required him to move to Chicago and follow a strict curfew. Although he told friends he had planned to rebuild his life in Iowa, he left for Chicago within a day of his release and quickly found work as a short order cook. Over the next year, Gacy was accused twice more of sexually assaulting teenage boys. In one case, the victim didn't appear in court, so the charges were dropped. And in the other, the charges collapsed after the accuser tried to blackmail Gacy. Crucially, none of these incidents were reported to the Iowa Parole Board, so Gacy completed his parole without consequences. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He should have been in jail still.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 month after his parole ended in October 1971, his Iowa criminal record was sealed, effectively wiping the slate clean just before his crimes would start escalating. So he pretty much got away with it. How old was he when this happened that the case was sealed?
He was born in 1942.
And it was sealed in 71. I thought only juvenile cases were able to be sealed.
Yeah, it wasn't like a juvenile thing. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with a felony on it record. I'd love to have their cases sealed, especially when you're guilty of something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody with the plate clean for you. I mean, that's a little more than general.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I can't
It's
hear
all
it.
it's okay. So people always tell me all the time, we can't hear Chris, we can't hear Chris. It all just depends. He's comfortable speaking where he's speaking at, so it's going to be that way sometimes, and it is what it is.
I gotta put this mic in my mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I work with the equipment that I have because if I want to get top-notch professional studio stuff here,
We need more
that's
sponsors.
big bucks, and I'm a factory worker.
Yeah. Now, again, part of his parole was that he had to move back to Chicago. In late 1970 or 71, John Wayne purchased a modest ranch home at 8213 West Somerdale Avenue. His mother helped him buy this house and funded it.
Wow.
Because he worked as a short order cook, but she had more money than he did.
It never did say what she did.
I don't remember what she did.
For a, profession. Even when I was looking and doing my stuff today, I never said what she did, so.
That house would become the center of his public life, his private life, and as he later admitted, the site of all of his murders. To neighbors, Gacy seemed like a model community man. He loaned out tools, plowed snow for free, and threw huge themed summer parties that drew hundreds of guests, including local politicians and business leaders. On the surface, he was friendly, generous, and deeply involved in the neighborhood. At this time, he did get remarried to a lady named Carol. She had 2 daughters, and they all moved in and lived together in that house on Somerdale. Inside the house, his personal life was unraveling. Shortly after his mother moved in, Gacy rekindled a relationship. Shortly after he moved into the house with his mother, Gacy rekindled a relationship with Carol Hoff, a woman he'd briefly dated in high school. She had the 2 daughters, and they were married in 1972. By time 1975 rolled around, Gacy told her he was bisexual and announced that he would no longer be intimate with her. He spent most nights away from home, returning in the early morning hours with vague explanations about work. Carol began noticing troubling signs. Teenage boys entering the garage late at night, gay pornography hidden around the house, and wallets belonging to young men that she didn't know. When she confronted him, Gacy shut her down angrily. Their marriage deteriorated quickly, and after a heated argument in late 75, Carol asked for a divorce. She moved out in early 76, and the divorce was finalized soon after.
Do you imagine being told that by somebody that you're with, that you're bisexual and there's no longer going to be any,
There's no relationship with her?
Yeah, I mean, that would be like a getting hit from left field type thing,
Yeah. But I mean, at that point, it's not really. I don't know that you're really by.
Yeah.
Connection to your female wife.
Yeah, that's not really by.
Just wasn't really interested.
Yeah, and that's, why don't you just put it that way type thing, instead of, what he did, but. Sorry, go ahead.
It's like telling her that he's just not interested in her anymore.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. He's trying to take a easy way out, or a softer way out. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing soft about it. No, hey, by the way, I like wiener too.
And not the schnitzel kind.
Oh, I'm not going to touch you anymore. I'm not even going to think about touching you.
Ew, you got cootie.
Sorry, it just felt right.
In early 1971, John Wayne Gacy launched PDM Contractors. It started with minor repair jobs while still working as a cook. It looked like a thriving small business that he had, and it ended up being huge. By 1973, He had quit cooking altogether to focus on construction full-time. The company grew quickly by the mid-70s. Gacy was working long days, juggling multiple projects, and even supervising remodeling jobs for a larger firm. By 1978, PDM was bringing over $200,000 a year, which is a lot for that time period.
Yeah. I would imagine, at least, yeah.
But behind the success was a pattern of predatory behavior. Gary filled his workforce with teenage boys and young men.
Gary?
It cut off my C.
Gary.
It cut the bottom of my C to an R.
Oh my God. Oh, Gary.
I'm sorry, guys. I
Holy
failed.
shit, that was
I'm
great.
fired.
Oh, Gary. You're getting them kids to fix stuff, Gary. Oh shit, we needed that. That was great.
You're welcome. Gacy filled his workforce with teenage boys and young men, many of whom he propositioned or pressed for sexual favors in exchange for money, jobs, or access to his vehicles. He also used intimidation, once warning an employee how easy it would be to kill him and hide the body. Now, during this time with the employees, he got his fucking ass kicked.
Did he really?
So many times.
By the staff?
By the staff, because he would take them home. He would essentially try and rape most of them and fail miserably, and they would kick his ass.
Wow.
He once was beaten in front of his own front yard, and his wife came out and asked him what was going on, and he said it was because he wouldn't pay him. So he came and kicked his ass.
Oh my God.
One guy bashed his head into a wall. When he had handcuffs on him on the front this way, he managed to get one loose and put Gacy in the handcuffs like this and kick the shit out of him.
Fires.
The pictures of the way he shapes, you're not moving your arms when you're stuck like this.
Yeah, that's Gacy's stage name, Gary. Gary, what a name.
It was actually Pogo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary.
Gary Pogo the Clown. Several incidents revealed just how dangerous he had become. In 1973, he raped a teenage employee during a trip to Florida. In 1975, he attacked a 15-year-old named Anthony Anatucci, handcuffing him only for Anatucci to fight back and briefly restrain Gacy instead.
Wow.
The following year, Gacy targeted 18-year-old David Cram, tricking him into handcuffs while dressed as his clown persona, Pogo. Now, Gacy also was a performing clown for parties and community events called Pogo the Clown.
Yep.
I hate clowns.
That's one of the reasons why you didn't want us to cover it. Yeah, most people do hate clowns. I've not really met anybody that likes clowns, you know?
Yeah, especially like people, all right, clown.
Yeah.
There are some people that love them, and I don't know why.
I had a friend in school, Nick, that hated clowns, and we used to go to the, haunted houses, and we'd go up to the clown and tell him he hates clowns, go up behind him and scare the shit out of him. And they used to. I mean, yeah.
Cram escaped, but Gacy attempted to assault him again weeks later. Cram soon moved out, and though he continued working for PDM for 9 more weeks, he continued to working for the guy who tried to rape him.
Wow. Now the PDM, that was, maybe you already said it, that stood for painting,
design and maintenance.
Maintenance, okay.
Yeah, it was PDM company or something like that.
It's not really a clever name for business. I mean, I don't know. I always look at that stuff.
Yeah, it was paint, design, and maintenance.
Let's take the 3 things that we do the most. Use the first letter.
Use the first letter. Slap it on the van, yeah. IDM.
Crafty.
Now, another one of his employees ended up moving in with him and stayed there for multiple years. That would be Michael Rossi. He moved into Gary's home after he was assaulted by him, and then joined him in a clown performance with Gacy as Pogo and Rossi as Patches, while Gacy's violent behavior continued to escalate behind closed doors. So those two clown suits we saw Gacy's and we saw Rossi's.
Oh,
So
okay.
Pogo and Patches the clown.
I was wondering why when you guys sent me the picture, there was two of them.
I never knew that there was another clown there. I thought just Gacy had a alter ego Pogo costume.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Pogo and Gary.
Pogo and Gary. Here we go with Gary again. We got to get a Gary sign put up in the studio now.
No, please don't.
Crafty by Laura there. Make us a Gary thing.
No.
Crochet it faster than Bill Cosby, all right? Go. Oh, man. This Duncan's hitting me good tonight.
It's good. Gacy entered politics. He became a member of the Democratic Party. He was actually able to meet First Lady Rosalind Carter on May 6, 1978, which was 6 years after his first murder and 7 months before his arrest.
Wow.
Yeah, he was that well known that he got to meet her.
Jeez. He grew pretty big pretty fast, I feel like, in whatever that he did.
He did.
You know, his business, being out in the community, you know, politics.
So with the Democratic Party that he joined, he offered his employees as to help clean party headquarters at no charge. He was rewarded with an invitation to serve on the Norwood Park Township Street Lighting Committee, subsequently earning the title of precinct captain. In 1975, Gacy was appointed director of Chicago's annual Polish Constitution Day parade. That's a lot to say in one sentence. Though his work with the parade, which he would supervise until 1978, Gacy met and was photographed with First Lady Rosalind Carter wearing an S pin, indicating a person given special clearance. The event later became an embarrassment to the United States Secret Service.
So, are they big for, like, you know, Polish out there? Is that why they had, like, a parade and all that kind of stuff?
I know they have a giant parade when it comes to St. Patrick's Day. That's
Okay.
the only one I know about.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the Polish Constitution Day parade is like, but I'm assuming if it's as big as their St. Patty's Days ones are, and a first lady, like a president's wife is going to be there, it's got to be huge.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you've been to Chicago before, Chris. Were you far from where his home or where he was?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Norwood is near.
It's a metropolitan of Chicago, so it's close by.
A metropolitan area. So, but yeah, Norwood was near O'Hare Airport.
Oh, okay.
So there's the northwest.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
You know, but Chicago, very similar to many other cities. Even Cleveland or wherever, New York, they all had their little areas.
Oh, yeah.
Their Irish neighborhood,
Yeah.
Polish neighborhood. Because I lived in a.
Yeah. I always wanted to go out there, Chicago. I was going to drive out there when I was younger and I worked, retail for a while. I had like a weekend off and I was just going to drive out there, Chicago, because it was somewhere I wanted to check out. I didn't, though. I looked up how far of a drive and I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I'm like, I'll do that, but then I'm like,
6 hours.
But then I was just winging it and it's like, well, what am I going to do when I get out there? It's just me. Then I got to find somewhere to stay because I'm not planning this ahead, I was young. I was only like 20 years old, Probably. Yeah. I mean, at 20, who cares? And back then it wasn't too much of a big deal,
Now it's a little different, though. I think there's a lot of those neighborhoods.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Sorry, Classroom Jackie.
No, it's fine. we need a little bit more of this because we're talking too fast.
Wow. We all like doing that. It's okay, though.
I know, I get excited and I just speed through everything.
I get excited and I just run around the house. When I get excited, I do. I'll just randomly run around. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Ah.
Zoomies?
Yeah, zoomies. Yeah, like
Mhm.
cats get. That's like me, you know. I'm a cat. I don't lick my hair though. But anyways, and I don't like catnip, so we're all good there. But so go ahead.
Now, we're going to jump ahead because obviously we know that he killed 33 people.
Yeah.
We are not covering 33 individual murders.
No. And at one point, he was the highest ranked with killings. I know it's changed,
yeah,
but
at that time, he was the highest ranking.
Yeah, when he was indicted, yeah, he certainly was.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I picked out a few of the ones that I felt was the most important that we'll cover.
Okay.
In the early hold up.
In the early
There
Gary
we go.
awoken.
Actually, in the early morning hours of January 3rd, 1972, John Wayne Gacy committed what is believed to have been his first murder. After attending a family gathering the night before, Gacy drove into downtown Chicago, where he encountered 16-year-old Timothy Jack McCoy at a Greyhound bus terminal. McCoy was traveling to Omaha and had hours to wait before his next bus. His next bus was arriving at noon exactly.
Okay.
Gacy offered him a place to rest and a ride back in the morning, even after taking him on a brief sightseeing tour before bringing him to his house. According to Gacy, he awoke the next morning to find McCoy standing in his bedroom doorway, holding a kitchen knife. Gacy claimed he panicked, attacked the teenager, and ultimately stabbed him to death, only to find out that the teen had woken up and made breakfast.
Yes, I do remember that. That's
So,
yeah, he totally read it wrong.
Yeah, he said he saw him standing at the door like this, with the knife down, panicked, jumped out of bed. The boy put the knife down. He jumped on him, pinned him, and then stabbed him.
Yeah, here he thought he was coming to attack him, and
he admitted to washing the knife in his bathroom. So he kills him. I'm going to go wash the knife off the blood in my bathroom, and then I'm going to go walk in the kitchen.
I love
blood.
I love how he can catch his stuff. I absolutely love it.
I'm going to go see myself out now.
Oh no, the show's going. Oh, one of the fans, David, had told me, because we were asking about the Polish Day Parade. It's one of the largest in the world. It's held annually to commemorate Poland's May 3rd Constitution. So that's why they do it. So thank you, David, for that info. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you got to get that knife off the blood, so.
The evil stare.
Go ahead.
Radio silence.
Carry on. No radio silence. We don't do that.
Gacy buried McCoy in the crawl space beneath his house. Years later, he described the killing as a moment of disturbing self-realization, as he had what he said, amazing orgasm.
Oh,
yeah.
While killing him?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's kind of, he was kind of hooked at that point.
He said he felt an over... He didn't feel the sparky big time.
Those of you that listened when we covered BTK, that's what Chris is referring to. Sparky big time is what BTK would refer to his penis as, or when he was finishing. That's what it was, a sparky big time. So,
he described the killing as a moment of disturbing self-realization, saying he felt an overwhelming rush during the act and understood for the first time that taking a life gave him a sense of power and thrill. In July of 1975, 18-year-old John, I am going to butcher this name, so I'm going to call him John B.
There you go.
There you go.
John B.
An employee of John Wayne's contracting company, PDM, vanished without a trace. The day before he disappeared, John and two friends confronted Gacy over 2 weeks of unpaid wages. Gacy claimed they worked out a compromise and that the young men had left peacefully. But the next day, John's car was found abandoned. His wallet, jacket, and keys were still inside, suggesting he hadn't planned to go anywhere. When John's father called Gacy, Gacy insisted he didn't know anything and suggested that John had simply run away. Police questioned him, but with no evidence, the case stalled. For the next 3 years, John's parents called the investigators over 100 times.
Well, his dad was a cop.
Yeah, but they called the investigators over 100 times, begging them to investigate Gacy.
Yeah, his dad was not going to give up. And they said that if he would have or not has been so strong about looking for him, that John might have gotten away for a while.
Well, he got away with it for 3 years.
Well, yeah, but he could have gotten away.
If they had actually listened and did a little more digging and followed him at this point, none of the other murders would have happened. There would have been 3, and that's it.
Yeah.
Only after Gacy's arrest did the truth emerge. Gacy admitted he had lured John back into his house under the pretense of settling the wage dispute. He tricked him into being handcuffed and then strangled him. He hid the body in his garage and later buried it beneath a concrete floor. In December of 1976, 17-year-old Gregory Godzik disappeared. Excuse me. His girlfriend Les saw him outside her house. Godzik also worked for PDM, but he had only worked for them for less than 3 weeks when he disappeared. He had informed his family that Gacy had had him dig trenches for some kind of drain tiles in his crawl space. Godzik's car was later found abandoned. His parents and older sister contacted Gacy about his disappearance. Gacy claimed that he had expressed a wish to run away from home. He also claimed to have received an answering machine message from Gregory shortly after he had disappeared. When asked if he could play the message for the parents, Gacy said he erased it.
Of course. How ironic.
So when I was looking through the victims to pick some out, I noticed that 2 of them were his own employees that he actually killed.
See, I thought there was more of them that were, but I guess not.
There was 2 that were killed. He did try and rape or attack multiple of his employees.
Okay.
So if you want to count those, 7 or 8 of his employees were part of his victims, but
Gotcha.
Only 2 were killed.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I thought it was a lot more for some reason. I thought it was the majority of those 33, but then if you think about it, it's like, well, he didn't have that many damn
Right.
employees, you know?
And a majority of these 33 victims were either gay, runaways, or transient. So they were just traveling around and things like that. So people that wouldn't be noticed.
And that's what a lot of these different serial killers that we've covered, season 1, a lot of them where they pick up people that are running away.
Aren't you more likely to be killed by a stranger than somebody you know?
Really?
Oh,
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
that kind of shit. Not a lot of people go out.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
Disgusting other people, it makes them interesting because the reasons why they do it is what everybody struggles to understand.
Yeah.
And when people struggle to understand why people do something that they do, it either usually it makes them.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's the.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Because we'll, never fully know. especially the ones that have already died, you know.
Right.
That's what makes what we do and all the different podcasters and researchers neat, is that everybody forms their own opinion and it's different, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Or, yeah.
that's not really our format here. We're a little bit more open.
Here we are.
Pleasure.
Yep. On December 11th, 1978, John Wayne Gacy walked into the Nissen Pharmacy in Des Plaines
Yeah.
Des Plaines to discuss a remodeling job. While he was there, he casually mentioned within earshot of 15-year-old employee Robert Peace that his company paid teenage boys far better than the pharmacy did. That single comment caught Robert's attention. That would also be the beginning of his end.
Oh, okay.
A short time later, Robert's mother arrived to pick him up so that the family could celebrate her birthday. Robert told her to wait just a few minutes. He wanted to speak with a contractor about a possible job. He left the store around 9 p.m. and never returned. According to Gacy's later statements, he brought Robert back to his home, offered him a drink, and steered the conversation toward money and hustling. He then tricked the teenager into putting on handcuffs. What happened next shifted in Gacy's retelling, but the outcome never changed. Robert Peace was murdered shortly after 10 p.m. Gacy admitted that the boy was terrified as he tightened a rope around his neck, and that he even took a business call while Robert was dying in the next room.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, one of the ways that Gacy committed a lot of these crimes was he would bring the victims back to his house, give them alcohol and drugs and things like those, and then watch stag movies with them.
What's stag movies? Sorry, I don't.
Gay movies.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, he would also mention that he was the clown. We were talking about this earlier, and asked his victims if they wanted to see a magic trick, which often involved handcuffs.
Yep.
He also said that one of his last tricks that he would tell his victims was called his rope trick. And it's where he would take a piece of rope and a hammer, like the handle of a hammer, and tighten it on the victim's necks.
Yeah. Yep.
So he said he did multiple tricks
Because
on the victim.
when he was in Boy Scouts, he had learned, tourniquet, put the rope on there and take a stick and tighten it up to help cut off the blood if somebody was bleeding out or on their arm. Yeah.
Right. When 15-year-old Robert Peace didn't return home on December 11th, 1978, his family immediately reported him missing. The last person he was known to speak with was contractor John Wayne Gacy. Lieutenant Joseph, I'm just going to call him K, who had a personal connection to Peace High School, began digging into Gacy's background, and what was found was alarming. A prior prison sentence for sexually assaulting a teenage boy and an outstanding battery charge. Police visited Gacy the next day. He denied offering Peace a job and claimed he'd only returned to the pharmacy to retrieve a forgotten appointment book. He promised to come to the station later, but stalled, even inventing a good story about a dead uncle. When he finally showed up at 3:20 a.m., he was covered in mud and claimed he'd been in a car accident. His explanations kept changing.
Couldn't keep his story right, his lie.
Yeah, I think he had a history of long rambling solutions.
Yeah.
Wasn't that around the time where neighbors complained about a smell and had a plumber come out?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that was crazy because we had talked about that before, how plumber came out because the neighbors kept bitching and bitching, there's a smell, god-awful smell. Where's it coming from? And, of course, Gacy knew what it was, and then he has a plumber. I'll have plumber come on out and take a look down in the crawl space and take a look at the septic. And I remember them saying that the guy was down there trying to find stuff, and there was just, maggots everywhere. And it's just like, but the guy didn't see it, what was going on, because the way he had him buried. Because they said, an investigator said that when they went down to the crawl space to originally search his home during when, Robert went missing, that he said, we were looking for something that may have been freshly buried bodies, like a mound. And he goes, there was no mounds down there.
No.
So he said, it just looked like a crawl space. And we left.
So actually where Timothy's body was buried was where he stored his tools and stuff before he poured a concrete pad for his garage. So he's in the little middle area right there. And he was buried so deep that concrete was poured on top of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was his first victim.
Well, yeah, of course they're not going to find him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On December 13th, police secured a search warrant for Gacy's home. Inside, they found a disturbing collection of items. Police badges, handcuffs, a syringe, pornography, drugs, a class ring with initials JAS, a blue parka, multiple driver's license, and a length of nylon rope. They also found a photo receipt from the pharmacy where Peace worked. So when he denied being there, he had a receipt from that day for pictures that he had dropped off.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day too, which any young viewers that we have, you guys don't know about this, but when we would take our photos and drop them off and wait for them to actually develop them,
And then hoping they turned out.
And hopefully they turn out, yeah. What was it, 1 hour photos, but most of the time they took more than that.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah. Kids these days don't get that now, which now I feel like I'm an old fart when I say shit like that.
I loved film.
Do they still sell those?
They do.
Yes.
They do.
And they still have photo labs, Walgreens in town. They have a photo lab there, and you can get disposables. They have them hanging out front, and then you can use their photo print machine or have them print. And I'm like, damn, who's still doing that? Or remember Polaroids? Polaroids when they would print it out and you shake it and blow on it.
I have a Polaroid camera. Polaroid.
Yeah.
But I want to get a disposable camera again and start
Oh my God. And then you got to wind it up after every picture.
Yes. They're so fun though.
Anyway, sorry about that. We're old farts. Except Chris, he's young.
That class ring with the initials JAS ended up belonging to one of his victims. The victim, his name was Jonathan. I cannot remember his last name, but I remember it starts with an S.
He is on a roll tonight. I'm telling you, folks, this is the next Ralphie May, minus being real fat. This is the next Ralphie May right here. This is it.
But
I love it. This is Chris Christ. I love it.
That wasn't the only thing of his victims that was found at his house of that one. This guy, John's car was actually found there. Rossi, the guy that he raped and then moved in with him, was still living there at the time during all of this. Gacy sold Rossi, R-O-S-S-I, I don't know how you say it, so I'm saying Rossi, the car for $300. And because they matched the VIN to the victim's name, they were like, oh, okay, whatever, we believe you. And told the victim's mother that, yeah, he sold his car, but we can't find your kid.
He got a hell of a deal on that. $300 for that thing. $300 was a dead guy's car, but
it was a Plymouth Satellite.
I don't know if I even know. I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah.
Plymouth Satellite, huh?
From that point on, Gacy was placed under 24-hour surveillance. As investigators dug deeper, more troubling information surfaced. Other young men connected to Gacy had gone missing, and one former employee had accused him of kidnapping and torture. Interviews with former employees revealed stolen property, suspicious gifts, and chilling comments, like Gacy giving someone a watch he claimed came from a dead person. Search dogs later alerted to the presence of a body in Gacy's car, and Gacy himself began to unravel under the pressure. He drank heavily, taunted officers, and even joked over breakfast that clowns can get away with murder. By December 18th, he was exhausted, paranoid and attempting to sue the police for harassment. That same day, investigators traced the photo receipt found in his home to a coworker of Peace, confirming that Robert had been wearing the coat it came from the night he vanished. This was the moment the investigation shifted from suspicion to certainty. The walls were closing in, and Gacy knew it.
Yeah. Gary knew it for sure.
And now,
Now we're going
let's
to,
see how it happened.
yeah, we're turning it on over to criminology, Chris.
So yeah, Peace was like the beginning of that, after he kind of got tied to that whole situation, and they were watching him around the clock. He got busted for. Well, he ended up getting busted for walking in, and I don't know if he was selling or whether he was just handing a bag of weed to the store clerk, whatever in that store.
I can tell you. Give me a second.
But either way, after that happened, it actually subjected Gacy to like an additional search on his home. And when that took place, they ended up this is when they actually went to his home and they actually discovered remains.
Oh,
First set of humans.
gotcha.
After that, I mean,
So if it weren't for that bag of weed, they may never went back.
well, and that's
Maybe.
true. I think they were looking for a reason.
He was handing a bag of marijuana to a gas station attendant. So he was selling.
Yeah.
So the following day, I guess the suspect, in a rambling statement at the police, Mr. Gacy, he basically confessed to killing more than 30 young men and boys.
Well, yeah, that was because they were executing a search warrant, wanting to execute the search warrant at his house, that they did this to arrest him to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like I said, and rambled and went down the road and told him the story, and then he ended up retracting.
Yeah.
After a little while, but either way, I mean, confession or not, I mean, it got pretty obvious when they ended up finding the remains of 29 bodies.
Oh, okay.
At that point, I mean, no one's framing you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a clear-cut thing. They also ended up actually finding an additional, I think they found 29 on his property. I believe they ended up finding 4 that he had dumped in a river.
So he didn't have them all buried at his house then. Probably because he ran out of room, I would imagine, in that crawl space eventually.
He would have had to. 33 bodies under there. Did he double stack them?
Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier when we were talking earlier today that he had somebody or one of his employees digging trenches for drain tiles.
Yeah.
Oh.
So drain tiles is like drainage pipe.
Yeah.
Just stay in my basement.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, getting around to, and actually, I forgot to touch on this. During that time, while he was being followed, he actually admitted to his lawyer that he had tortured, raped, and killed 30 young men. Apparently, he was relatively inebriated, and he actually spilled it to his lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Now, what I think the reason why it would be terrible to be a lawyer is that confidentiality thing. It's similar to being a doctor. Like when your lawyer tells you something in confidence, his lawyer can't just go to the cops and say, hey, Gacy killed a bunch of guys and he admitted to it.
Yeah.
You could be disbarred for that, right? So a lot of times, even I had a professor in college that he was a lawyer and he had a hard time handling it because he had clients that would tell him where bodies were buried and things like that, and that they had done it, and he couldn't disclose that information to family.
Really? Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
He ended up getting anyway.
Daisy made a good point. It's true. Could you imagine, officers going for a drug bust and finding 33 bodies?
Could you just imagine the smell?
Yeah.
I just want to know how, you walk up to that house and you're like, what the fuck
Well,
is this smell?
I did EMS and stuff years ago. I've smelled somebody that has passed, and it's awful smell when it's been a while. So I can only imagine 33 because one of them was just brutal. We used to put, we used to put Vicks underneath our nose when we went to a real bad call.
Yeah.
And it helps, but it doesn't eliminate at all.
No ozone machine or anything to solve that.
Yeah. So, but that is a good point, though, Lackadaisy. Definitely, you're going in for a drug bust, what you think, and then you're finding 33 bodies instead. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, early in '79, shortly thereafter, he was charged with 7 murders. He was indicted for an additional 26 by a grand jury, I believe, in April. The total, once again, as we had discussed, is at that point in time was the largest number
Wow.
of murders.
And that was in what year? 78, and that was the largest at that time.
When Mr. Gacy's trial began. So this trial actually was relatively interesting. It wasn't a real defense against the charges. They were pretty clear on the fact that he had killed a bunch of people. I mean, he had like 3 separate confessions that he had made. So it wasn't a question as to whether or not John Wayne Gacy was guilty of murder at that point. They were more or less, the defense in this case was doing their best to try and get him off with a insanity plea. Try to get him sent to a mental hospital.
Oh yeah, like most of them try. Yeah.
In lieu of doing so their intention, as a defense, they, in lieu of trying to bring in people, bring in character witnesses or anything like that in defense of John to make him seem like he was a better person or not capable of it, they actually went the complete opposite route, and it was similar, in fact, to like the prosecution typically that you'd see in a case where he was bringing in people to make him look as absolutely disgusting as possible.
Really?
Seriously, make everybody believe that, holy shit, like this guy was so like nuts.
Yeah.
And all the shit he did to these people, that he has to be crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't you say during the trial that the people who knew him, the neighbors and community and stuff, said there's absolutely no way and that he was framed?
Right. And yeah, the community at the time, obviously, he was a precinct captain. He was involved in a lot of stuff in the community. A lot of people were like, no, that's not, there's no way, it had to be framed or something. Well, I think after they figured out that he was indicted for 33 murders, I think that kind of went out the window, because how do you frame a guy? If you're going to frame a guy, you put a body in their basement. You don't put 30 of them.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
He did say, I remember when I was reading that he only had space for 29 of those bodies in his crawl space, and the other 4 were in rivers. Yeah. So 29 bodies he has stacked in there.
And that's no one's framed you. So the prosecution was basically trying to argue that Gacy was entirely sane, and they were more or less concerned, I believe, on proving the calculation of the actual murders and the premeditation and his desire and why he did what he did, aside from not mentally being stable. So 13 days of testimony from the prosecution. They questioned 60 witnesses. Everything from, like Jackie had mentioned, former employees of Gacy that testified in regards to his sexual advances and attempts to persuade them to get handcuffed and to get involved in things they didn't want to do. Right, exactly. So after that, the prosecution had them. They had friends. They had relatives. A bunch of emotional testimony. Obviously, they went into detail about it. I'm not going to go into it really.
Yeah.
The circumstances of the bodies that were covered. So they had forensic guys in there and that kind of thing too. They talked about the tourniquet situation and all that, and the methods of how he took these guys' lives. The prosecution also had psychologists in there who testified that Gacy was sane during the time. So, like I said, they were doing their best to try, because they knew what the defense was doing. They were going for that insanity plea. That way,
Yeah.
he could get tossed in a nut house and he'd be out in a year or two or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think wanted to prevent that from happening. Prosecution rested its case on February 20th, and then the following day, the defense actually began with their witnesses. One of which was, did you mention Jeff Rignall?
No.
Okay, so Jeff Rignall, he was one of the survivors of his attack. So he was raped.
Oh wait, I remember this
tortured.
guy.
Yeah, there was he went through the whole process, and Gacy ended up dumping his body.
Yeah, he was also the one that Gacy drowned several times and brought back and asked, "Are we having fun playing games yet?" During this. Yeah.
Anyways, he
Wow.
got up on the stand and actually recounted the entire situation. He ended up actually on the stand in the courtroom, became hysterical, and actually began to vomit and had to be removed from the courtroom.
Wow.
But I could only imagine what going into a room with the guy that did that to you and trying to, just recount all this information.
Yeah. Traumatizing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Courtroom full of people, including.
Yeah.
Well, now in modern trials, they do where if the person testifying cannot confront the accused, they do them on video, so that way they don't have reactions like that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
if
they
they
can do that now.
they can pre-record the testimony.
Yeah, they usually do it like via Zoom. Yeah.
They especially do that with you.
They even do that with some of the prisoners when they're in the jail. Instead of bringing them into the courthouse, they'll Zoom them in right from the prison.
Especially if it's violent. Like if it's a violent one, they will.
Anyway, I guess there are 22 witnesses appeared for the defense. 6 of them were psychologists. They actually testified as medical experts that old Gare had to be mentally impaired.
Care Bear.
And they said he had conditions bordering on schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder. I don't know how they were able to make that determination.
I don't think he had multiple personalities.
No, and I don't either.
What was one of them? The clown? I mean, come on. God, what the hell was that?
I don't know. Look at
Cloud.
Like a weird yodel.
Oh, I had water go up my nose, you dick.
Not mine does, just trying to make the host choke on water.
You dick. Oh my God.
What's the giant horn they use on the mountain?
Rico.
So the psychologist, they further testified that that Gacy was unable to understand the nature of his acts, and therefore he should have been he should be held to have been insane when he committed the murders. In which case, obviously, and their hope was that once again he'd end up in the nut house. So as the trial went on, Gacy started acting more and more like removed mentally or checked out mentally during the trial. At one point, I guess he actually, or multiple occasions, I guess he mentioned that he didn't understand what was happening or why he was there. Although on March 7th, the judge in the case actually ruled that Gacy was still fit to stand trial. So the judge wasn't buying what he was selling. You know, he wasn't
Yeah, he's not.
the bullshit. It's like, well, yeah, that's cute, but no, you're fine. The defense completed its case the following day, and closing arguments were heard on March 11th. The prosecution ended with gruesome detail accounting each of the murders to which he was charged for, emphasizing that they were all carefully planned. The defense attempted to convince the jury once again that due to his sanity, that it was inappropriate to find him guilty of the murder. After that, the case went to the jury. And it was 7 men and 5 women. It took about 2 hours, less than 2 hours.
You pretty much know you're fucked at that point.
Yeah, and they returned with a guilty verdict. Following day, they were asked to deliberate regarding the sentence, and they came back in under 2.25 hours, sentencing him to death.
So in total, 4 hours to find him guilty and needing to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty sure. I think once you get past the idea that, yeah, he wasn't insane when he did this, it was pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. All the facts were there.
Regarding. Anyway, he ended up actually going through years and years of appeals. I think he was in prison for, I think, 14 years? Yeah, 14 years. Before he was actually put to death.
Which was in 94, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in 1994.
So he sat in there for a little while, I guess.
So, but yeah, during that time, a few things happened. 1981, a year later, they buried the other unidentified victims. There were 6 victims at that point in time, I believe, that were not identified. I think 3 of those, was it, Jackie?
Yeah.
3 of those
are still unidentified.
That are still unidentified, but they did identify one recently after that, which was Gacy's first victim, that Timothy McCoy. And then actually in 2017, through data now, or
so to find Timothy, they would have had to bust up that concrete then.
Well, I think they found.
He was under concrete, so they would have had to bust that concrete up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think now his house is tore down.
Oh yeah,
I think, yeah.
I mean, after that, once that happens, that house gets removed.
Yeah, it's like the Castro house.
Does it really?
I guarantee they removed that whole stinking house and dug up that entire ground.
Plus, you wouldn't want to live in that house after that.
Well, you'd be surprised. Some people like to buy stuff like that because of the story behind it, you know.
Back then, I don't really think in the 70s.
But why did they, if you think about it, why did they never tear down, you know, Dahmer's parents' old house? That's still there. There's people living in it now, you know. It's only, 30 minutes from us, but I mean, there was only, I think, one victim originally, his first one in the backyard there, but still.
So,
right.
So an execution date was set in 1993, I think, after his last appeal was thrown. Funny enough, in 1994, having already irritated the community and area with paintings and sketches and things like that, he actually, it says that he drew the ire of officials by unveiling a $1.99 per minute telephone line, which featured a recorded interview of him answering.
Wow.
What the world? What?
And we saw this when we went to Alcatraz a few years ago, the crime museum, way before we started the podcast. There's a painting that he did that's the MLB, and it's autographed by baseball players.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of his paintings he did, he was really talented. It's
Yeah.
crazy how good he was.
Well, David was telling me a little bit ago that actually one of his paintings sold for $8,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's
Which
painted,
is like, geez.
there's actually in the museum it's a semi truck, and it's got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs painted on it that he did.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
there's some
that's
some
true.
cool ones.
Lackadaisy, which he said,
Yeah.
entrepreneur once won, always won.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he wasn't really a dumb guy, but
His IQ was 118.
Still got me beat. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what mine is.
yeah. So there's a difference in accounts of Gacy's last words. I think the famous one
Was kiss my ass.
was "kiss my ass." Yeah, which I was getting to.
Sorry.
But when he said that, a lot of people think he was like sitting in the chamber, like ready to be killed. That he wasn't. Apparently, that was allegedly said to a prison guard on the way to the execution chamber. And then they reported that his last words were, taking my life would not compensate for the loss of others, and that this was the state murder.
Oh, yeah.
He denied it to the end. I think there were multiple times where he, one day he would confess to a handful of the killings, other days, no, that wasn't.
Oh, yeah. So he was all over the place. Yeah. Did they say what his last meal was?
I have that actually. It was shrimp, Kentucky fried chicken, and French fries. But he also got to have a picnic with his family on the prison grounds before his execution.
Did his family actually want to have a picnic with him?
It says right here,
Wow.
he was able to have a private picnic with his family on the prison ground. And later that evening, he was observed having prayers with a Catholic priest prior to be taken to the execution chamber because his death was scheduled for midnight.
Imagine being the kids. What are you going to do today? Go and have a picnic with my dad that's on death row.
He's going to die.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how awkward that would be? I guarantee they didn't talk. He probably just sat there and they stared and then they left.
They ate KFC and all that good stuff. Yeah.
You couldn't pay me enough to go see. I don't care.
Yeah.
No.
At that point, yeah. At that point, I've completely shut you out of my life.
Yeah.
At that point,
You don't exist. You're dead to me already.
Yeah. Now you had stated too, Chris, and I don't know if you were going, to mention it, that something had happened during his execution, right? With the IV or something.
Yeah, one of the IV lines for the chemical to be injected actually clogged. So it took a total of 18 minutes for his execution to happen. They had the curtains closed for 8 minutes and then got the clog fixed, and then his execution took place after that.
So I wonder how long lethal injection actually takes without that happening. I wonder how long, like what the time is, I mean, I'm sure it's within minutes, but I'm just curious. Yeah.
I think honestly, I think if we had to talk about like what's not going to harm you or whatever. I would honestly think that putting a gas mask on and just running nitrogen into it
would be the
Yeah.
quickest.
Yeah.
I think that would be the
Yeah.
Yeah.
more humane.
Did you know he was
method.
pronounced dead at 12:58 a.m. and his brain was taken out and donated to Dr. Helen Morrison for the purpose of researching serial killers and trying to determine whether there is a biological connection to their need to kill?
We'll see in the defense, and those
Really?
psychologists ended up getting their way anyway, because during the trial they were talking about that it would be a shame to have him go to prison because they wouldn't be able to study him thoroughly in regards to what he had done to try to prevent future occurrences and that sort of.
But
you can still talk to him in prison.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from
Interviewing him. Yeah. Yeah, because people do that all the time. I mean, people interviewed, Manson all the time. They interviewed what was his name?
BTK.
Kemper all the time too, BTK. Hell, BTK's daughter went and interviewed the last time that she decided to talk to him. She went and sat down with him too as well. I mean,
Right.
anybody can. That's true. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So they got their way anyway. They still have to study the guy. So
But
there you go.
what did that solve by getting his brain? You said you're trying to
They're trying to see
prevent
if
from
there's
further,
if
but
there's a biological reason why serial killers have that need to kill.
Medulla
Medulla.
Oblongata.
But the thing is though, is that it didn't help us. It didn't prevent nothing.
Holy
There's still
cow.
serial killers out there,
So for the lethal injection, it can take up to 7 minutes, but complications could take up to 2 hours.
Well, I mean, look at Gacy. It took 18 to 20 minutes, Complications. I just think, electric chair, hit it the old fashioned way, fire it up.
But you can have failures on those, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can set the person you're killing on fire, and that's
Yeah.
probably worse to see than
Well,
anything else.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's messed up, but we're killing them. So if they're on fire, anyways, tomato, I don't know. Who am I to judge? But, so yeah, it's, John Gacy is, quite the story for sure for anybody that was listening tonight that did not know anything about him. Hopefully you know a little bit more. Not like many people really want to know more, but, he's one of the well-known killers, for sure.
We had to talk about him.
Yeah, he's in the, main beginning video for
He's
the
in
show,
the,
and
top
he's in a
10
lot of
serial killers for everybody.
Yeah, he is. He's in the top 10. So, next week it's going to be just criminology, Chris and I. So the two badasses. Classroom Jackie will not be here; she'll be out of town. So
I'm just chopped liver. They're the badasses. I'm the liver.
it's it'll be Chris and I, and we'll let you know. We have not decided who we're going to do yet, but we'll post it and let you know here within the next day or so. We're not just going to do sounds of our motorcycles,
As much as they want to. I told them no.
even though we've talked about it, or doing like a tool time thing, and he
I don't
can be
think so, Tim.
Al. Yeah,
We don't think so, Tim.
but we'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know.
Social media Jackie will let you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't let anybody know shit.
They tell me and I just post the stuff, okay?
So what was I going to, don't forget to, I forgot to plug it all in the beginning. Follow us on social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. That is at Murder Show. And we do appreciate it. And YouTube here as well. If you have not subscribed to us, please do. We're at 57 subscribers now. Hit the subscribe button and click that little bell, which will notify you every time we go live. Other than that, we hope that everybody has a great remainder of your weekend, and a great week next week. And until then, we will see all you guys next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will let Jackie take you guys out of here.
Same crime time, same crime place.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye.